Cereta was first introduced in world grant writing when she was HUD's Grants Management Center in Arlington, and they offered her the opportunity to be their box cutter. And I want her to explain what that is to us when she gets up. So,
3 months with my bachelor's degree, looking for a job, looking for a job, looking for a job. Finally, this government contracting firm hired me and wanted box cutters. So what is a box cutter? A box cutter is, back in those days, back way in those days, you used to mail your grant applications in. So it's now you have to send it through grants.gov, electronic portal, you just hit submit, all your electronic files gets transported. But back in those days, everybody mailed it in. And not only did you mail your applications in, you had to mail in multiple copies of your applications. These are huge applications. So they just needed bodies to cut boxes. And so I was a body that they hired to cut boxes. So I was a box cutter. And so about 3 to 6 months of that, my supervisor, she noticed me. And my manager, she was my manager. My supervisor quit, and she's like, I've been watching you. You want to be a supervisor? I'm like, heck yeah. So she promoted me to supervisor. And then a little bit after that, a reviewer quit. And so because a requirement of being a reviewer, you have to have your bachelor's degree, and I was just there. They're like, we've been noticing you, and you're a go-getter, we know that. So do you want the opportunity to be a reviewer? And I became a reviewer. So I reviewed a lot of the grants we actually know today. Who knows about the Ross Service Coordinator Grant? So we reviewed the Ross, we reviewed the FSS, we reviewed the mainstream, we reviewed family unification. And back then, Ross wasn't just Ross. Like today, Ross is just one grant. Back then, Ross was Ross Elderly, Ross Family, Ross Home Ownership, Ross Neighborhood Networks. So we were reviewing like some huge, big grants. And so the agencies that I worked for, HUD did not renew their contract. So we all had to find new work, and I had all this skill set because I know when an application gets to the funding agency, what they look for. So I knew what to do to win a grant. So when I left there, I'm like, I could be a grant writer. And so I started writing grants. My first year, I assisted 6 agencies to apply for grants, and I won 5 out of the 6, and I knew I had something. So that was the beginning of that, did that. I had a full-time job. I did that, moonlighted doing that for about 3 years. And then this wonderful gentleman in the back of the room decided to marry me. He's a military guy, so we got shipped over to Hawaii, and I had to quit my full-time job, even though everybody said, don't quit, don't give up your good government job. I wanted to quit for years because actually my grant writing business was making more money than my actual full-time job. But they're like, well, what if it fails tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, what if it does fail tomorrow? So I stayed there. But when we got shipped to Hawaii, I was forced to quit. And it was the absolute best thing I could have ever done. Absolutely. So I just delved into it. And 12 years later, here I am standing in front of you guys. So that's the genesis of comprehensive grants management.